Hi guys, today I'm gonna review Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerill. I received this book through Netgalley in exchange for an honest review, so as always this little disclaimer that all opinions stated in this video are my own. This book is gonna be released on December 27th and it is the first book in a YA fantasy duology. At least that's how it looks so far. The author has said that at least for this main character it's gonna be 2 books. There might be more books in this world though. I do feel like this first book definitely wraps up the plot of this one nicely. There is something at the end that definitely makes you want to read on, but kind of the main problem, I guess, of this book is definitely solved. So our main character in this story is the 17-year-old Britta, and she kind of is hunting criminals together with her father until one day her father is murdered, and this kind of just leaves her basically with nothing. She doesn't have any rights to the lands of her father, and so she basically ends up being poor and without anything. Then she is caught poaching, which makes obviously everything worse because that is illegal. But the king does offer her a deal to track the murder of her father for her freedom, which sounds great until she finds out that the murderer of her father is actually basically her best friend, someone she fell in love with, but also that broke her heart at some point. And that is kind of where the story really starts. This is definitely kind of really basic YA fantasy with a really basic main character and a really basic love interest and a kind of interesting magic concept, but nothing in this book really stood out to me. I definitely thought it was an enjoyable read overall, but there were a lot of tropes in this one, lots of themes and motives that we've seen in so many other books. I was definitely mostly reminded, and I kind of hate to compare, but I definitely saw so many themes and things from the Grace Grimm trilogy by Christine Cashore and the Courier's Daughter trilogy by C.J. Redwine. It's pretty extreme, so I feel like, well, I don't want to say that the author copied anything, don't get me wrong. I don't think that, you know, this is like an issue in that way. I just felt like it was nothing new, nothing that kind of blew me away because I felt like I have read it before several times. That said, I did enjoy it because of that reason too. These are just series that I enjoy and that I kind of find just fun to read. And so this definitely kind of fell into this category in a very positive aspect as well. I just wish there had been more new elements to the story. In general, there were just so many cliches and tropes in this one, and I am pretty tolerant with tropes. I don't mind love triangles, I don't even mind insta-love, but in this one there were a few tropes that I just found so incredibly annoying. I mean, just this kind of cliche of a hunting girl and her father gets murdered and she kind of has to track the guy that murdered her father, blah 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 blah. That's already cliche enough. But 2 of the tropes that were in this book that most annoyed me, and it's definitely not the only ones, but I kind of want to mention them because these were the 2 tropes that I found most horrible, were on the one hand this kind of trope where a person that is very important in the life of the main character lies to the main character to save her, to protect her from whatever. And it just creates so many different problems, so many different misunderstandings. I hate that. Just be honest to each other, because all of these problems and misunderstandings that made everything even more complicated could have been avoided if you had just told the truth. Which, you know, in the end gets told anyway, so. The other really annoying trope is just one that sends so many wrong messages in my personal opinion, so I definitely want to mention it because I feel like it's really problematic, and that is the trope of a guy and a girl traveling together for a really long time through the woods. The girl is like dirty and doesn't really wear fancy clothes, and she obviously like fights and stuff, but then we get to a point in the story where actually the female character takes a bath and gets put in a dress. So what happens? The boy that obviously had feelings for her all the time but was really able to hold it back can't help himself but kiss her. I don't know why this trope exists of this kind of, she's cleaned up in a dress now, so I have to kiss her. This is not only super problematic for the girl, who might feel like this is something she has to do, like dress up for a boy, so he will like her. This is also really problematic for boys reading it, because it's kind of like supporting this kind of, well, she was wearing this and that, so I couldn't hold my feelings back. Nope, not here for that. thank you very much. Overall, I found the romantic storyline pretty annoying, and I'm definitely a sucker for romance normally, but I just don't think this one was very well done. It was just annoying in a lot of places because I said misunderstandings and stuff like that. It is definitely not insta-love. It is clear from the beginning that Britta is in love with Cohen. It's kind of obvious that he has feelings for her as well. It definitely doesn't come out of nowhere, but it takes a long time for something to like actually happen, and when it finally does, it's obviously this kind of dress trope. There's just so much involved in the storyline that kind of just made me cringe. There's so often like these almost kisses and then it doesn't happen, and of course Britta thinks this is because she is imagining everything, whereas it's so clear for us as a reader that it's not something she's imagining, that there is something that holds Cohen back. It just happened too often, and you know, when they then finally kiss, they don't talk about it at all. They ignore it, they are both bitter about it, and they just keep lying to each other. God, in hindsight, all of this makes me so much more angry than it did while reading the book. With all that said, this sounded like I really hated it, but these were just like these few aspects that I just didn't enjoy at all. But as I said, I overall thought the story was enjoyable, and I never felt like I wanted to like DNF it. I definitely kept continuing. One of the aspects that I kind of want to mention that I do feel like I enjoyed was the magic. I just think there was not enough. I just hope that we get to see a lot more in the second book of the magic and how it works, because I definitely feel like the concept and how it works is very, very interesting overall, but we don't really get to it for a really long time. It definitely feels more of a historical fiction novel for a long time until we finally discover this magic, and I just really hope that this is an aspect that is a lot more important in the second novel. I do think it will be, because as I said, at the end there's definitely a cliffhanger. It shocked me and it definitely got me. I was like, okay, that is really interesting. It kind of has to do with the magic, so I feel like it will definitely have a more important role in the second book. I do have to say, even though there were lots of annoying things, mostly thanks to this cliffhanger, I am really excited for the second book. I think there is a lot of potential, and I just hope that it doesn't get ruined with another trope. That's kind of all of my thoughts on Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerill. Would I recommend it? I guess if you don't mind tropes too much, yes, I feel like it is worth a shot if you like Graceling, Defiance, or you know, any of these kind of books. But I guess I will have like a better and full opinion on this when I read the second book. So let me know if you maybe want to read or not read Ever the Hunted now, and if you have read it, let me know what you thought about it, if you agree or disagree with any of the things that I said. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!